Hi, and welcome to Talk to Ruth with our special guest, Nan Rae. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Ruth. I'm delighted to be with you. This is wonderful.
This is wonderful.
So much fun.
Have you ever been on radio before?
I have.
You sure
Yes.
have. Okay. Well, right now, I actually know you.
Yes, you do.
Through Nick Federloff.
That's right.
He did a TV show on
Yes.
it. Okay, can you tell me a little bit of your bio, please?
Yes, well, all about me. I was a professional artist. I did portrait painting and I worked in every medium. And I stumbled upon Asian art when I was in Giverny, and I saw Monet's home, and in his foyer were all these Japanese woodblock prints. And when I came back to the States, of all things, there was a microbiologist from the City of Hope teaching brush painting right down the hill from me.
And this was back in the 1990s or 80s?
Oh my God, do I have to say? It was way long ago.
Okay, long ago.
And far away.
Oh, well, I'm really an 80s person. I love 80s.
Oh, then we're best friends.
So I'm pretty
Okay.
familiar. So go ahead
And so that began my journey. And the first year was actually very difficult for me because I approached it thinking, oh, I'm an artist, I should be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I struggled for about a year, and then one day I had this epiphany of, why don't you just paint? Just paint, and then along the way things will happen. And so then everything clicked. 4 years later I started teaching, and at this point I've taught over 3,000 people.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, yesterday I just had a workshop at Robinson Gardens in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
So I had new people.
So you're pretty
teach.
booked throughout
I am
your
booked.
whole year?
I'm so booked, yes.
Okay. I found that
Yes.
I was actually tapping into your Facebook.
Yes.
You also have a website. So
I'm
can
all
you
over
go
the
ahead
place.
and advertise your website?
Well,
what is it?
Yes, it's Nan Rae with an E, NANRAE.com. And you can find out about me. You can connect to my blog. I blog every week about what's going on. And then people can order greeting cards from me. And also they can order supplies if they're interested in brush painting. And also prints, and they can connect with me on the website if they're interested in original art.
Wow. I also read in your bio that
Yes.
you are a trained artist.
A
A Western,
Yes,
right?
exactly
So
right.
that is totally different from
It's completely different.
what you're doing now, Chinese brush painting.
Yes. Because what we're doing and what I teach is from the following the gentleman scholars or the literati in ancient China. So these men did not consider themselves artists, but they felt that they were cultivated gentlemen. And what they would do is they would stroll in their garden, and instead of cutting the flowers, bringing them in as we would do in the West,
Yes.
and then we put them on in a vase in our studio and then look and copy.
Exactly.
What they would do is they'd really study the flower and they get the essence of it. And then they would come in and without looking at anything, they would paint from their heart.
From their imagination.
From their imagination.
And what inspires in at that moment.
Exactly.
Is that right?
It's very spontaneous. We work on very thin paper. And also there's no sketching and there's no making corrections.
Yeah.
You don't go over any of the strokes. Because the idea is you want to be able to read the journey that the artist took. So if you make corrections on the paper, it gets all muddled and you can't tell the path.
Your work actually inspires me because
Oh my
we
goodness.
have to use our
Yes.
imagination.
Right.
And you also mentioned that there's no mistakes in art.
There's no
Save the
mistakes
paintings, right?
Right, save
Okay.
it. And people are always shocked when we do save the painting.
Yeah, because a lot of people usually, oh, I made a mistake, crumble it and
That's
toss
right,
it away.
right.
Because of frustration, that's what you mentioned, right?
Exactly right. And that's such a negative thing to do as
Mhm.
compared to stopping, thinking, how can I save this?
So when I see art, I see you can make that art something else. If you feel that it's a mistake, you create another object or
Right.
another illusion.
That's perfect. Very well
Right?
said. Exactly
And
right.
I also see in here that it's almost like a Tai Chi, like almost if you're dancing with your brushes.
Exactly
Right?
right. And some people call their work the dancing brush. So
Oh,
that's very well
wow.
said. You
I
you
just
got
made
it.
it up.
Right, right.
And I also seen that you, in one of your YouTube videos
Yes.
that you mentioned that you don't use the stroke of your fingers. You use the motion of your shoulder.
Right, right. Well, it depends on what you're painting. For example, if you're painting bamboo leaves, the stroke is completely from the shoulder and you don't move your fingers at all.
At all.
Yeah. If you move your fingers, you get a leaf, but it's not a bamboo leaf.
Yeah. And what is your, I know you like trees and I know you like birds. You actually have
Everything.
a whole wide range. What is your favorite thing to paint?
Well, it depends. Now, it's the wisteria season, so I suspect for the next month or so, wisteria will be my favorite thing to paint. But usually it's whatever I'm painting at the time. I go, oh, this is my favorite.
Because I seen you you actually mentioned it at the TV show.
Yes.
That you like bamboo a lot.
Well, bamboo is a very definite subject. It's one of the four gentlemen or the four seasons, and it should be painted. I think of it as actually being a more masculine subject.
Wow, that's
And
interesting.
it's very, you know, the leaves are done in a very strong, dynamic way. So when you're feeling powerful and you're feeling dynamic, I'd say paint bamboo.
Actually, you know what? I seen one of your paintings.
Yes.
It was 3D-ish.
Okay.
What? I was looking like if it was 3D. How do
Really?
you make that happen?
Well, I think what you did is that you just entered into the painting. So I think you brought more of yourself to it.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
Right, which is
Okay.
important for any artist. It's the artist does 50% of it, and then the rest is the viewer.
Okay, I'm going to mention some of my favorites that I seen on your website.
Okay.
Okay, this is nanrae.com and it's Chinese brush painting. And the one that I have quite a few, but the one that caught my eye is on the patio.
Yes.
That was in the print section,
Oh,
where
my
you
goodness.
ordered in the prints.
Yes.
The gourmet.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have parts there that's gourmet, children, scenes, birds,
Right.
fish, landscape, art cards. All of
There's
the
a
ones
lot.
that I'm going to mention,
Yes.
you can order these.
That's right.
Okay. Ming,
Yes.
that's in the children's section. Carousel or
Yes.
carousel.
Carousel.
Okay, carousel, that's in the children's section. Bearing gifts.
Yes.
That is wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
And that's
thank
what
you.
I did today. I
Oh.
bared my gift
Yes,
to you,
and I
you gave it
thank
to
you.
me.
Right. I
right?
think we gifted one another. Thank you so
Exactly.
much.
And then,
Thank you.
what is it? Prince of Rainforest.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Golden Koi.
Yes.
Journey to the Promise. Rapture of the Rainbow. Violet Rose. Blossom Dream. Master of the Bamboo Grove.
Yes.
These are my favorites.
Oh my goodness.
And I know
Thank
these
you.
listeners
Thank you.
are going to order these
That's so sweet.
because
Thank
they're
you.
not costly.
Thank you.
Right?
That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
anybody can purchase your beautiful cards
Absolutely,
online.
yes.
And
yes.
your charge is so amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we can have this in our
Art for
table
everyone. That's right.
and keep it. And I just love it. If anybody could see these are just like so amazing.
Thank you.
And I know we're going back to radio.
Yes.
And what we want our listeners to actually hear and see what we're trying to explain.
Yes.
I know you have a book.
Yes, I do. The Chi of the Brush. Yes.
You're actually, is this a bestseller?
Yes, it's a bestseller.
Tell me
yes.
about it.
And the Chi of the Brush, Chi really means life force. So it's the life force of the brush. So this is a how-to. It's a step-by-step how to paint many flowers. So in here, and also it speaks of the materials and setting up. And every lesson has For example, on leaves, you have lots of examples
Okay.
on how to do it. So I get wonderful feedback on this. Here's the iris.
Oh, wow.
And so...
It's almost like a blue violet
Yes,
tone, right?
right, exactly. So, and here's wisteria. Remember I said that I'll be painting wisteria now.
Yes, yes.
So, and also there's a chapter on seals, the mood seals, the name seal, and then we have birds and just about everything. So it's a very good introduction.
What's the name of the book again?
The C-H-I of the brush. And they can get this on Amazon, or they can go on my website and order it. So I think that people, it would be good even for people who don't want to paint. It would be a good overview. And just for many people, they wonder, what is sumi painting? So it's the Chinese Buddhist monks who took this type of painting to Japan, and then the Japanese developed their style, which is a little bit more minimalistic.
Yeah, so to the listeners, it's more amazing when you have the book side by side opposed to having a Kindle that you just got to browse through.
Right.
Is anything on internet that you can, is your book on the internet? Where
Well,
you
what they can do, they can go to my YouTube videos. So there's quite a few where I demonstrate how to paint, so they can watch those.
Okay.
And we're working on having classes.
You also had, I believe you illustrated a book for someone.
Well,
Can you tell me
actually,
about
oh my
that?
goodness, this is the favorite thing that I've illustrated. This is Suma the elephant.
Okay.
And what's interesting about this won the Benjamin Franklin Award in New York for illustration for independent authors. So that was a wonderful award for this book. So Gary Shoup came to me, and this story came to him. It's written the way you would write a children's story,
Oh, okay.
but it's a metaphor for adults.
Okay.
And the metaphor is this elephant was kidnapped by monkeys and tied with a low string. And when it matured, it thought it was still tied up even when the monkeys were gone.
Oh, wow.
And so it speaks of the things that hold us back, the strings that we think oh, I can't do that because my family won't support it, or I can't do that because I have too many this
That
or
is
that.
my unfavorite word.
Ah,
Can't.
right.
Oh my goodness.
So this book is now being used to help in school with abused or with children who are being bullied. So it's used that way, and also in women's groups for women who are in abusive situations, that they can break free.
You know what? I would love to purchase that book, especially for my
Yes.
children, because, you know, they interpret the meaning of
Right.
the elephant, right?
Right.
In a different way, maybe
Exactly.
to themselves, or maybe they're a little character. So they all have their different imagination, how they see it, and
Right.
us as adults
Exactly.
will have a different perception.
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. And Gary wanted me to illustrate this. He picked my paintings, and you can see that there are no pictures of elephants or of monkeys, because my work is very emotional and very evocative. So he wanted to convey the feeling of the book.
So when you actually seen the words,
Yes.
you actually matched of how you felt.
I let
when
Gary do it. I said, you have carte blanche, pick out whatever you wish. And the interesting thing about this, because I have lectured on this book, is that I cannot read it aloud. It's a very short book, so I have to have someone else read it, because on the first page, I start tearing up. One day, deep in the jungle, Suma was born.
Wow.
I mean, I just...
So you have a lot of emotion
A lot.
with your work,
I have a
right?
huge connection with this book. I think that it's going to be another Jonathan Livingston Seagull, if audience members remember that. It's that important a book.
Okay, you have brought us some special brushes. You have to explain what we're looking at or what we can hear.
Okay, well this is called an orchid bamboo brush, and it's a hard brush made out of wolf or deer hair, and it keeps a lovely point so you can do more than one stroke without the brush getting out of shape. And this is a soft brush, and it's made out of
Can I feel it?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Wow.
You might want one just as a feeling,
is
right?
Really, this is really nice.
And this is a soft brush. It's not a makeup brush.
Oh, it looks like, huh? Hey, we can use it for a blush.
Right, exactly.
And what is this one called?
And that's called a basic soft brush. And this, when you do one stroke, it's completely out of shape, and it will split. It will split on you.
And that's made out of what?
This is rabbit or goat, and this is wolf or deer.
Okay.
Okay. And so I like to say no animals were harmed. They were merely plucked.
Plucked, or were they recycled, or
I don't
combed,
know. I
or
don't think we
something?
want to know. Peter, just forgive us all. I don't really know. But this brush has its uses. And for example, if you were doing a horse's mane or tail, you would do a swirling stroke. You would want it to split. So you take advantage of the nature.
And what do you use that brush for? The flowers or bamboo?
Okay,
or?
For bamboo and for flowers, you would use a hard brush.
Okay.
And the orchid bamboo or a larger brush.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And when people start out, you don't want to start out
like
with a large brush. These brushes hold a tremendous amount of water. The paper is very thin and absorbent, so for beginners, you want to stick to a smaller size brush.
Okay, this brush that you have in your hand, what is this one called?
This is called a too hard to handle brush.
What animal?
And again, this is wolf or deer hair.
Wolf or deer. Yeah, you know what? They just combed it and got the scraps.
Exactly, right. All wolves are safe. We love the wolves. Okay.
And how about the next song?
And then we also have a mountain horse brush, and this is very coarse. You can feel how coarse the fibers are.
Yeah.
And this is wonderful.
It almost feels like my hair when it's not
right, exactly. So, you know, it's like I told Nick I could make wonderful brushes from his beard. His beard is not safe around me. Right, exactly. So this makes wonderful mountains or rocks because it's very scrapey, and also branches. So it's important to use the right brush for whatever it is that you're painting.
Okay. And I see that you have a very small, couple of small ones
You are so good. You're so observant.
I'm not going to miss any.
So, right. So this is a fine detail brush. So if you're painting, for example, a bird's beak or the stamen on a flower, you would want to use a very fine brush. And this is a medium size, also for small detail.
Okay. I've seen some of your work where it's actually, you have some that's just the flower or the bamboos.
Right.
And you don't have any background.
Well,
why is that?
All right, that's a very good observation, because in Asian art, the idea is to show, for example, if you're painting plum, you would not paint the whole plum tree. You would just do a branch, and that branch would represent all of plumdom.
Okay.
All of plumdom is represented.
Okay.
And what you really want is to leave at least a third of the paper blank, so that the eye has resting places.
Okay.
In Western art, we love to fill up every corner of the painting, but in Eastern art, no, we leave at least a third blank.
You have gotten more and more involved in that.
I have, but it sounds like you have, because you really have an understanding of it. So I'm so proud of you.
I love
You've done
art.
your homework.
I love art.
It's obvious.
My daughter is an artist, and I know that you started when you were young.
Very young.
Very young. My daughter started at age 2.
Oh my goodness.
And she got inspired by her brother, which was older, because my son would love to paint animals. And since then, she has not stopped
Isn't that
her
wonderful?
artwork.
Oh my goodness.
And she gets to that point where she gets crumbly and
Yes,
frustrated and throw it in the trash. I go, no.
No.
Guess
Nan
what I
says
do?
You can't. You retrieve it.
Guess what I do? I go in the trash.
Yeah.
I put it and I, iron it out a little bit, and I put it in a folder.
Well, I have something for you to tell your daughter. And that is, for every artist who has ever painted, there's a point in every single painting where it looks awful. There's no explaining that. I've got a wonderful video of Picasso painting, and at the midway point he goes, "Oh, this is awful, this is terrible." But it's true. There's a juncture where you do want to crumple it up. It's like a runner hitting the wall.
Okay.
So you've hit the wall in that painting, and you have to just take a deep breath and continue on, knowing you're the artist, you can fix it, you will make it work. And somehow they all come together.
And you cannot disturb the artist, because right?
Well, I don't know. I'm disturbed all the time, so I'm always being interrupted. I'm used to talking while I'm demonstrating, so...
I know that art is so important for therapy.
Yes.
It's
yes.
mind, body, and soul.
Exactly.
And I believe that we, as a family, should encourage
yes.
our children.
Right. And
And
all of the arts. Writing,
music,
right,
everything.
dancing, everything.
And they're taking all that away.
Right.
So
I know.
how do we put it back
Well,
in?
parents, you just have got to band together, maybe march through the streets, bring art back into our schools. I don't know. It can start with one person, but it has to be someone who really has the vision for the need, for young
I
people
see.
to have that need. And then they gather people around them, and if there are enough people, enough pressure, it'll happen.
Yeah, because I see that the parents, they're not artistically inclined.
Right.
So they want to do something to bring this,
Exactly.
I know I have some kind of artistic incline to myself, because my dress code.
Yes.
And I love to see art in museums.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
fascinated. I go
Yes.
to LA Art Walk. That's where you should be,
good
Nan.
for you. Good
So
for
they
you.
have it every
Yes.
once a month. It's
Yes.
LA Art Walk. I'm going to go
Yes.
back to my favorites.
Yes.
I know I have some that
Okay.
you actually gave me as
Yes.
gifts, but I want to explain to me the gracefulness of your painting when you teach your class.
Well, I think for me personally, what I've always been able to do, I've always had a sense of design and color. So I never have to think about it. I've never used a color wheel, and I never plan out a composition. I just go for it. So in the beginning, when you teach new people, the thing is we have to understand how the brain works. And the way that the brain works is, remember when you learned to drive a car, and you were all over the place. You overbraked, you oversteered, because your brain didn't quite know what it was supposed to do. So then with painting, when I teach something for the students, they lodge it somewhere in their brain.
Okay.
And then the next time they have a class, or the next time they have that subject, then there's another bit of information, and the brain goes, oh, that's so familiar. Let's get a synapses, let's kind of hook it up to that other thing. So it takes repetition. And so
Okay.
people can't get discouraged when they're learning. They have to understand that the way the brain works is repetition. And Malcolm Gladwell says, to be good at anything, you have to put in 10,000 hours. And what frustrates me is when I teach, if I taught the piano, people would not think they could go home and play a concerto,
Okay.
right? They would understand that it takes practice to get to Carnegie
And
Hall.
what is the age groups that you are teaching?
Well, I prefer teaching adults, so it can be anywhere from 30 to, I've had 90-year-olds.
You also taught at the Nickelodeon.
Yes, right, and that was wonderful. I did several workshops for Nickelodeon, And they're so enlightened. They have various artists come in and do workshops for their artists.
Okay.
So it was teaching them a new art form.
Where are these classes held?
And so the classes are held primarily at the Huntington Botanical Gardens in San Marino, and also in my studio, which is in the Burbank foothills. And then
Beautiful place. I've been there.
overlooking the world.
Oh, the beautiful studio mansion
Thank
style.
you.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, thank you
And
so
you
much.
actually feel it's actually to walk into your studio, you can already feel the serenity. Why? Because you have a beautiful, beautiful view, and it's not enclosed studio, right?
Exactly right.
So,
yes.
how does your students feel when they actually go to your class? Do they feel,
They don't want to leave.
oh, let's stay here, let's have dinner?
Right, exactly.
I have something on the website
Yes,
here.
uh-huh.
Can you explain, I know we already discussed the
Yes.
Nickelodeon.
Right.
What about right here, Nan's Art
Okay.
used in Ling Design?
Yes, so Ling Design is a company in England, and they have taken Nan Rae Art global. So greeting cards and stationery products are now sold with my images on them in Australia, in Russia, in
Paris.
Oh my goodness, also in Paris
Yeah.
and in Italy and actually all over the place. And they are working with a company in the States. So the way they do the cards, they're with beautiful gold envelopes, and the cards are also embossed in gold, and they're quite lovely.
So you are world famous. Yes.
And a legend in my own mind. Yes, that's correct.
And you also did a collection at was it at the Reagan?
Maureen Reagan was a collector of mine, and we became very good friends, and I
Wow.
miss her greatly, yes.
Well, I see some beautiful work. You have to log into nanrae.com or nanraefineart.com, and you'll see her wonderful work, inspirational. Speaking about inspiration, when you write, actually draw, you don't draw with any pencils or pens
Correct.
or anything.
That's
You just
correct.
strictly
You go right for it.
the
Yes.
brushes, right?
Yes, yes. One must be bold. You go right.
I've
right
seen
to
the way
it.
you did your strokes.
Yes.
You have it a very fast,
It's
rapid stroke.
Very fast, very rapid, and also very delicate. And when I hold a student's hand, because one of my pet chalk on the board things is when a teacher will paint on a student's painting.
Mhm.
And I found that this, sometimes people will say, paint on my painting, and I will never do that. But I will hold their hand so they can feel the stroke, and they're always surprised at how light the pressure is on the paper.
Yeah, you actually do fast strokes, but also in delicate
It's very
and
delicate,
dancing, and it's like if you want to dance with your
right? Dance with me.
Your
Come dance with me.
your paintings.
Right.
Anyways, you also
Yes.
did programs, PBS.
Yes, yes. I did the Artist World, and that was a lot of fun. And some time ago, my artwork was major prizes on Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. And that was a lot of fun. That was
Wow.
great fun. You hear the audience reaction when they show the prize, and they go, ooh.
Yeah, I see.
And that was great fun.
And I actually see all your work, and I'm like, how can we get to sell our artwork if we are artists?
That's a wonderful question, and the most important thing is that you not look at another artist's journey, because I firmly believe so strongly that everyone has a purpose, and if you are gifted in whatever field it is, the work that you do makes way for you. But it doesn't always happen when you want it to happen, but you have to be willing to say yes to everything and be willing to put the time in. For people who paint, for artists who paint, I would suggest doing open shows like fairs and things like that. You can sell a tremendous amount of work there. When I first started out and introduced what I do to the public, I did the Pasadena Showcase House. And so you'd be outside for a month, and I'd be demonstrating all day long, and then I would go home at night and I'd mount the paintings and get up at 6 in the morning and put the paintings in the bargain bin, because women love the bargain bin.
Yes, we do.
So I sold a lot of artwork doing that, but it's very grueling. Usually shows go for, say, 2 to 3 days, and you have your work put up. I suggest every artist have a bargain bin, and the most important thing is that you realize it's not about you. It's really about the person buying your art, and you can't, many artists think what they do is so precious. They go, oh, I don't want to sell that. I don't want to sell that. You have to realize that you're the artist, you can do another. And for example, the second year I did Showcase House, and Merle Olson was the football player. We've since lost him. He was the husband of the co-chair, the art co-chair. And Merlin Olson greets me at the gate and of this house that had, you know, this huge gate and patrols and everything. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. He goes, hi, Nan, how are you? I go, hi, Merlin. And so it turned out that someone had stolen 23 of my paintings on the day that the show was closed. And everyone was...
Are we talking like farmers market shows?
No.
Private shows?
This is something like Kips Bay back east. This is where the group takes over a mansion in the San Marino, Pasadena area, and then each individual room is taken over by a designer.
Wow.
And so... they were very concerned that I would be terribly upset, and I was so excited. I was so happy.
What?
I know, it's crazy. Because I'm thinking, if someone is willing to risk going to jail for my artwork, I decided I had arrived.
You know what? My son had the same mentality. He goes, Mom, I sold my painting. It was a Hollywood painting.
Yes.
It's it was a Hollywood sign.
Yes.
I can't find that painting anywhere because I want it. He goes, Mom, just leave my painting out there in the world.
That's it, right?
And
it belongs to the world now.
He said, I'm excited, Mom. It's getting seen. I go, oh my gosh. So
that's it.
I guess every artist has their own way of expressing how they want their work to be.
Right. Well, I've decided that, I mean, what I do, I just decided it's not that precious, and I want it to be out there. And also, I tend to be on the commercial side. I see nothing wrong with being on paper products or being on items, being on mugs or whatever it is. That does not diminish the artwork. I think it's wonderful that people can get a little piece of your work. Not everyone can afford a painting.
I know. I want to save my work. When I see my daughter's work, I want to save it and cherish it.
We discussed that. You gotta let it go. Yeah, let it go. Frozen. You saw Frozen. Let it go.
and then my daughter tells me, Mom, I'm not going to sell my work. So that's another mentality.
Right. Exactly.
My son wanted to make T-shirts and
he's right. Get out there.
Get it out there.
He's right.
So what we want to do right now is please do discuss your website.
Yes.
How they could get a hold of you.
All right.
Your classes. Real quick.
Okay, real quick. So the website is www.nanrae.com, and that's Rae with an E, R-A-E. And also nanraefineart.com, and that's the fine art website.
Cool. Hey, I also went to your studio.
Yes.
And I seen that we actually didn't go. We didn't talk about the ink because you're not using. Let's talk about the way you use your ink.
Well, it's really all about the ink, and color is really incidental in brush painting. And the ink, people are familiar with seeing the black slate stone and the ink stick, which is made from ground pine soot. And what you would do is put maybe a teaspoon of...
And where do we find this?
Well, I think people could do one of 2-3 things. They could go to my website, click on supplies, or they could go to any area in where they sell Chinese supplies. Chances are you're not going to get quality
Okay,
in a
but we could
regular
actually
art store.
buy your supplies
Absolutely.
from you.
From me.
Directly.
Direct.
Okay. Okay, so that slate has
Yes.
ink on it already?
No,
or
it
is-
does not. No. So you grind the ink. And you grind it for until you start seeing bubbles in it. Then you know it's ready to use. And most paintings, all subjects can be done monochromatically. In other words, you would use ink only. So you could do all the flowers, all the floral subjects in just ink.
And we're talking about black ink, right?
We are.
Okay, and can you use it in calligraphy?
And oh, absolutely, it's primarily used in calligraphy. And as a matter of fact, Chinese brush painting stemmed from calligraphy. And the bamboo and the Chinese orchid were the first two subjects to come out of calligraphy. And in the East, calligraphy is really considered an art form. Anyone that is interested in calligraphy, I have a wonderful Chinese gentleman, Shantian Tom Chow, and he teaches calligraphy in my studio.
Wow.
The first Saturday of every month, and he's amazing. He's wonderful.
Are they Asian words? Are they?
Yes,
okay.
yes, right.
And do you know any of them?
The only thing I know, I can read the word large because I'm the
Large.
right?
I would think of God's
And-
promise
right,
or a rainforest.
I should be able to, but I will say that calligraphy is so difficult. It is so difficult. People that think it's easy, especially if you're doing the grass writing, which looks like a bunch of scribbles, that's even more difficult. And only people who are masters at it can even begin to read it.
Okay.
And when I was privileged to lead a group to China, I had an artist there through an interpreter. I had called the trip the Journey of Imagination. So I wanted the artist to write that calligraphy for me. He said, I will do something even better than that. I will write a 2,000-year-old poem about taking a journey, and along the way many interesting things happen.
Wow.
So you have all these characters, and it's because it's done in this running or grass style, very few people can read it. However, if they can pick out one or two of the characters, they know exactly what that poem is.
That is amazing. I was thinking that it was you doing this class.
No.
No, I was like, wait a minute, she's right there.
That's a bridge too far. No. I need 2 more lifetimes.
Well, I had a couple of my friends
Yes.
check out your website, and they felt it was inspirational to
Yes.
motivating them in their own
Wonderful.
way.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes, and I had a question
Yes.
for you. This is going to be a little bit...
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay,
yes.
when they see you on the website,
Yes.
they're thinking they're going to see an Asian woman.
I know, everyone, I know.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's hysterical, and it's really funny because the New York Philharmonic chose my work when they took their historic tour to North Korea and to China, and it's kind of funny. The San Francisco Symphony, there's so many wonderful Chinese artists in San Francisco, but they chose me to do their for their year of whatever.
The dragon, the tiger.
They chose me to do the artwork. And so one of a story that I love very much, there's a store in Chinatown in LA, and the owner of the store, I took a group to his shop because he sold our greeting cards and my prints. And we are connected because my very dear friend Lisa C., who wrote On Gold Mountain.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway, so what he always thought I was Eurasian.
Oh.
And so through the course of the conversation, it came out that I said that I wasn't. And he looked so crestfallen. He said to me, well, I always thought, like Lisa C., that you were Eurasian. I go, I'm so sorry. And years ago, the architect for the East-West Banks purchased several of my paintings, and he told me to leave off the calligraphy because at the time I was signing my name in Chinese.
Yeah.
He said, from your painting, no one can tell that you're not Chinese, but when you try and write your name, it's a giveaway. You better leave that off.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you actually sign
Yes.
your
With my
artist
chop.
with a
With a chop.
chop
Yes,
is
that's
almost, describe to us what that is.
Okay, so that's a carved seal, and in the East, that is used for everything, on checks. Every time someone wants to sign their name, they use their chop. And so I also pencil sign my work, which is redundant. So it's my name on my chop and then my signature.
So you actually, it's almost a stamp.
Right,
in
right.
a stamp motion, right?
Exactly right.
You had mentioned that you went to, is it Japan or China, where you had it,
Both.
both,
both.
where you had it carved?
Yes, yes, yes. And oh, so cute. In China, when I wanted to get a mood seal that said Journey of the Imagination, and of course I don't speak Chinese, and the shop owner didn't speak English, and so there happened to be someone walking by who could interpret and tell the carver exactly what I wanted to say.
Wow.
So, but
So
and
it's
that too is
actually
an art
your,
form.
is it an art form or is it
Yes.
your actual signature?
No, it's actually it's almost like hieroglyphics. It's the original form of the characters.
Wow. I was
Right.
like, what is she doing? And I was like
What's
so
going on here?
inspired by the rocks, because you have different
A lot.
rocks.
Well, you see, no matter what you do, you
I
start
should say
collecting
stone.
stones. So you start collecting things. It's like artists who paint, they start collecting brushes. So I have so many brushes. And then if you do brush painting, you start collecting the mood seals. And it becomes almost an addiction. It's like
And you could actually find these pieces in different type. I know the Pasadena SWAT meet is happening this Sunday, and apparently you can actually collect these stones
Yes.
and fossils. And I had bought one for $1, a bunch of
Stuff.
fossils, right? Because I figured I'm going to do something
Yes.
with them. I'm going to do
Okay.
artwork with my daughter, right?
Right.
But they actually are in value, the stones.
Yes, right.
I have to show them to you
Oh my
one
goodness,
day.
yes, I love to see them.
Nan,
Yes.
I wanted to ask
Yes.
you, you're having classes soon.
Yes.
You got to tell me when, where, and how we can reach you.
All right, the classes this month, there will be one this coming Wednesday at the Huntington Botanical Gardens. That's in San Marino. And the last 2 Saturdays, there will be classes in my studio. And people can go to my website, nanrae.com, and click on classes, and the schedule's always there.
Okay, because I know some are coming up
Yes.
soon.
They are.
And
Yes.
is it at your studio? What number can they call?
And they can call 818-842-6489.
Okay, and I look forward to one day having a class with you
All right.
on my spare time. So once again,
Yes.
we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, but we're going to go ahead and mention your website, www.nan, N-A-N, Rae, R-A-E, finearts.com, or at Nan Rae, or Nan Rae Fine Art. And the number is 818-842-6489. And you can call her regarding the classes
Yes.
of the schedule. We can just
Right.
click and give
Absolutely.
you. Okay, thank you so much for being here, Nan.
Oh, thank
I
you for
appreciate
inviting me.
it.
I love you. This has been delightful.
Oh my gosh,
So
and
much
a
fun.
shout out to everyone
Yes.
that's artists out there.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.